What's up, guys? This is Jay from Generation Geek, and today we'll be picking up on the issue of the Sentry, number 2. As always, if you guys are new here, please like, share, and subscribe, and join the Geek fan. We'll love to have you guys. So we pick up at the Brooklyn Community Center, in which Misty Knight and Jessica Jones are meeting with some people from Farad's DoorDash group, where they play volleyball, and they're just giving a whole spiel of how his powers went out of whack and he ended up destroying the entire gym, them thinking it was his mutant abilities, not knowing that was why, that it was this whole Sentry phenomena that was going on. And yeah, they just get some more info and clues on what's going on. We cross over to the battleground, in which Farad and Ryan got into their big skirmish, in which Ryan took down Farad and took all of his powers. They look at the footprints and they can definitely tell that it's Farad, obviously, because as we remember, he's a mutant and he had very, very big feet. That was his mutation, and kind of like furry face and big nose type of thing. So they realize it was him, and that the other one is Ryan, and they do some more forensics on the area to get a full report. And then we skip back to the moon, where we left Miss Mallory as she's sitting there crying. She's still having her spasms, and still having her issues. And then Ryan comes all the way from Earth to space, because he can hear her crying all the way from Earth, and he can feel her energy, and it kind of gave off a distress signal, a distress beacon. And he's talking to Mallory, and they leave a clue. She asks him, has he ever been in New York? And we kind of find out later that all of these people seem to have been at the same place at the same time, and this is probably where they got their the little pieces of the Sentry's power from. And Ryan begins to give Mallory some more information about where her powers come, and talking about the Sentry and stuff like that. And then she just says, I can't go back to my apartment, I hurt all these people, and all this other stuff. And she asks her some more about her wheelchair and stuff like that, and she says she destroys it. And he believes that the powers actually worked wonders on her, and that she actually looks pretty cute and stuff like that, and it's kind of giving some weird vibes. But he thinks that she should look at these powers as a blessing, and things like that. She totally disagrees with that. And then he just starts being a dick, and he's like, all right, whatever, well, you can sit here and cry, you seem like you're gonna be burning out all your energy anyway, so you can stay here and die as well and stay away from people. I'm going back to Earth, your powers are probably going to come to me anyway, I'm out. So Ryan just leaves. He just leaves her there and tells her, come find me if you change your mind. We end up in New York City, Times Square, where we have Marv Chow. He's putting on a magician show. He's a street illusionist, and he's obviously doing his thing, working the crowd, trying to get him some money and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, this guy comes up with a gun, who was like, let me volunteer, I got my own trick for you. And he freaking shoots Marvin, and Marvin apparently is deceased after taking this bullet to the chest. But then he gets a glimpse of the Sentry, in which he was battling the Molecule Man, and he resurrects himself out of nowhere, which obviously we know was one of Sentry's powers. They all seem to initially get one of Sentry's powers, even though it's kind of revealed that they all have all the powers. They just don't know how to use them or lock them yet, but they all pretty much get all his powers. They just don't know it yet. So he's flying, he resurrects himself, and then he goes to chase the guy who shot him. As he's chasing the guy, he reaches him in the dark alley, and who pops up? Of course, Ryan Topper. And Ryan Topper just completely blows a hole straight through him, and also the guy who shot him, which was completely random and out of the blue. But yeah, he just eliminates them both. And this is interesting because, like I said in the last video, Steven Yeun was casted to be the Sentry, and that's who Marv Chow looks exactly like. He looks just like Steven Yeun, but Steven Yeun heard a lot of the backlash, I believe, and he decided to drop out from the role, and for them to find somebody else that can, I guess, more accurately represent the Sentry in the role. So it was just very interesting by issue 2 that they already killed this guy off, who they clearly intended to be the Sentry, or at least that's what it seemed like, to as they always do with the MCU, to line up with what's going on in the comics at the time. Then we pick up with Rosalinda, who seems to either be security at this clothing store, or she just simply works there and just cares a lot about her job. She's a single mother of 3 bratty sons, and she's talking about her son, stuff like that, and then she's going over stuff that recently happened, with King in Black and the Goblin Gang War and stuff like that. How, you know, in Times Square they've been dealing with so much, and they just seem to never catch a break, and this and that. And as they're cleaning the store, they get robbed. Well, not robbed. They deal with some, you know, loss prevention stuff. Some girls stealing some stuff, and they try to run out or whatever. And Rosalinda just hounds them down. Of course, at this time, her powers awaken as well. But when she does, she gets a vision of Thor smacking the Sentry in the face with Mjolnir, and this happened in Siege, I believe, as well, in which they confronted each other during, you know, the destruction of Asgard. And then as she's chasing these girls, she shoots some laser blast, and then either she flies away super far or she just teleports somewhere else entirely. And then, of course, here comes Ryan Topper again, and now he's taking out Rosalinda, and he gets her as well and takes her power, and he's trying to paint himself as a hero. He says, "Stay back, everybody, I got this." Yeah, doing that whole, you know, little fake thing of, you know, presenting himself as a hero, but really being the villain in the end. We pick back up with Mallory. Mallory's in space, you know, doing her whole thing. Should I go back? Should I not go back? Talking about her roommate Clara, who, you know, she doesn't even believe in religion, but she's praying for her to come back and for her to be safe, you know. So eventually she decides to come back. She hears some refugees on a boat, and she goes down, she saves them. And the interesting thing, like, that I love about it, which, you know, for her to be so powerful, she still has a weakness, which is her, you know, cerebral palsy. And while she's lifting the boat, she can feel a spasm coming on, like, within her hand, and she's like holding it together as best she can, you know, just so she can save these people. And I feel like that is a great twist to have. You know, the Sentry, Robert Reynolds, dealt, you know, with his mental issues and such. So for her to have more of a physical issue that she really can control, despite having all that power, you know, she can be in some ways a threat at times. She can be a liability, or she can be a great help. And I feel like if they do decide, you know, for her to be the one to get the power, if it does not go back to Ryan Reynolds, which I feel like it will eventually, I feel like that is a good twist and a good weakness for her to have for sure. So we go back to Jessica Jones and Missy Knight, and they're going over, you know, all the Sentry suspects, you know, talking about them and finding their connection. As we can see, they all found that they all are connected by being at Penn Station at the same time, and using the train station. So that seems to be their one connection. That's probably where the source of the power came from. And then we pick up with the Avengers in Texas fighting the UFOs. And I guess since Shield had went defunct, they were just you know, carrying them in an 18-wheeler. And of course the UFOs broke out, and the Avengers are having to put them down, and they seem to be having a little bit of issues. And all of a sudden, here comes Ryan Topper, who names himself Ryan Sentry, and says that he's here to help, and that he's the new man with the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns. Yeah, so far, guys, I like where this story is going. It's definitely interesting. I can't wait to see where they lead it. Definitely got some interesting twists and turns. Not too original, like I said. It reminds me a lot of Heroes. Obviously with a Marvel Century twist. But yeah, you know, let's stay tuned. Let's see where this goes. And yeah, as always, guys, this is Jay with your comic rundown, and I'll see y'all later. Be blessed. Peace.